Hello dear, in this video we are going to learn about the coming of the Mughals. History lesson 8 for the class 7 ICSE. By the early 16th century, the power and the prestige of the Delhi Sultanate had declined considerably. This had given rise to numerous regional kingdoms. Thus, politically, India was in a state of disarray and disunity. It was at such a time that the Mughals conquered India and established a strong empire. Babur, his period was 1526 to 1530. Jahiruddin Muhammad Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire in India. He was a descendant of Timur and Chengiz Khan. He belonged to a small kingdom called Fargana in Central Asia. When he was 11 years old, his father Umar Sheikh Mirza passed away. He ascended the throne and tried to conquer Samarkand. He failed and in the process lost Fargana. Babur was thus a king without a kingdom. After being driven out the Fargana by the Uzbeks, Babur conquered Kabul in 1504. At this time, Ibrahim Lodi ruled over the Delhi Sultanate. Daulat Khan Lodi, the governor of Punjab, and Rana Sanga, the ruler of Mewar, wanted to depose Ibrahim Lodi. They invited Babur to invade India, thinking that after defeating Ibrahim Lodi, he would return to Kabul, leaving the Sultanate in their hands. Babur, who had heard about the fabled wealth of India, thought that it was a good opportunity to expand his kingdom. Battles of Babur. The first battle of Panipat. In 1526, Babur met Ibrahim Lodi in Panipat. This was the first battle of Panipat. The Lodi army was many times bigger than the Babur's. Babur, however, had a battle-hardened cavalry and the efficient artillery. He defeated Ibrahim Lodi and conquered Delhi and Agra. Battle of Kanua. Babur's decision to stay on in India angered Rana Sanga. He led a large army against Babur. The forces of Rana Sanga and Babur met at the Battle of Kanua in 1527. Babur's superior artillery and military tactics led to defeat of Rana Sanga. Battle of Gagra. In 1529, Babur defeated the Afghan chiefs in the Battle of Gagra. These three battles secured Babur's position in northern India. Babur's autobiography. Babur was not just a brilliant general, he was also an accomplished poet and a writer. His autobiography is called Tuzuk-i-Babur or Babur-Nama. In it, Babur has described the physical features, climate, animals, birds, flowers, fruits, and other details of the places he visited. He has described the life of the people. He has also written about his own life. Babur's achievement. Besides his military success, Babur has many other achievements to his credit. He introduced the concept of garden palaces in India. He laid out gardens in Agra, Sikri, and Dholpur. He introduced a new mode of warfare in India. He showed how the combined use of artillery and cavalry could turn a fate of battles. He re-established the prestige of the king. None of his nobles could aspire to be his equal. Babur died in 1530. Since he ruled for a very short period, he could not consolidate the empire that he had established. The task of consolidation fell on his son Humayun. Humayun, his period was 1530 to 1540 and 1555 to 1556. Nasiruddin Muhammad Humayun succeeded Babur in 1530. The name Humayun means fortunate, but the second Mughal ruler had many problems from the start. The empire was still without the proper system of administration. Humayun's brothers Kamran, Hindal, and Askari were dissatisfied with the territories that they had got. They wanted the throne of Delhi for themselves. The empire was under the threat for all sides. The Rajputs, Bahadur Shah, the ruler of the Gujarat, and the Afghans were preparing to fight Humayun. Sher Khan, the Afghan king, had established powerful kingdoms in eastern India and wanted to expand it towards northern India. Humayun battles. Humayun considered the Afghan threat as the gravest. He decided to deal with it first. In 1532, he defeated the Afghan forces at Dara. He then laid siege to the fort of Chunar, which was under the Afghans. Sher Khan was allowed to keep the fort on condition that he would remain loyal to Humayun. Humayun then marched against Bahadur Shah, who fled without fighting Humayun. Gujarat and Malwa became part of Mughal Empire. Meanwhile, Sher Khan strengthened his position in eastern India. Humayun decided to crush him once and for all. The Mughal and the Afghan forces met at Chausa in 1539. The Mughal army was defeated. Humayun barely managed to escape from the battlefield. After the defeat at Chausa, Humayun returned to Agra and raised an army. In 1540, he met Sher Khan at Kanauj. He chased Humayun out of his own kingdom. Sher Khan captured Delhi and Agra. He assumed the title of SHER and established the SURI dynasty. Humayun's exile and return. Humayun escaped to Persia and spent the next 15 years in exile. Shah died in 1545 and was succeeded by the series of weak rulers. Taking advantage of this, Humayun returned to India. With the help of the ruler of Persia, he defeated the Afghan forces and regained the lost territories. In 1555, he re-established Mughal rule. Shortly afterwards, Humayun died in an accident. Shah Suri. His period was 1540 to 1545. Shah was the son of Afghan Jahidar in Sasaram, Bihar. His real name was Farid Khan. He was given the title of Sher after he killed a tiger. Shah was a very ambitious man. Within a few years, he raised a large army and became powerful in the region covered by the present-day states of Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. He defeated Humayun twice and occupied Delhi. He went on to annex territories in the north and organized the administration of his empire. Unfortunately, Shah ruled for a very brief period. He died in 1545 and was buried at Sasaram. Shah was a good general and an even better administrator. He reformed the civil, military and land revenue administration. He is often regarded as a forerunner of Akbar. Many of the reforms introduced by Shah was continued by Akbar. Civil administration. The king was the most powerful person in the empire. He was assisted by the Council of Ministers. The empire was divided into provinces, that is Sarkars, and districts, that is Parganas. The lowest administrative unit was the village. Shah took the empire to inspect and ensure administrative efficiency. To prevent officials from becoming powerful in a particular region, Shah transferred them every 2 to 3 years. He also had an efficient espionage system. The spies kept him informed of all that happened in his empire. Military administration. Shah paid regular salaries in cash to his soldiers and officers. He branded all horses to prevent inferior quality horses from being included in the cavalry. He maintained an accurate descriptive roll of each soldier. The personally supervised all army recruitments and enforced strict discipline among his soldiers. Land revenue administration. All cultivable land was measured and classified into good, average and bad according to its fertility. The king's share was fixed at 1/3 of the total produce. It could be paid in cash or kind. The administrative officials were lenient at the time of revenue assessment but strict at the time of tax collection. In times of natural disasters such as floods or famines, the peasants did not have to pay any taxes. Rather, SHER gave them loans on easy terms in times of emergency. Trade. To make traveling easier and to promote trade and commerce, SHER built an excellent network of roads. The most famous of these is the Grand Trunk Road. The roads were provided with sarais or rest houses. These sarais became centers of trade. In course of time, towns and cities developed around these sarais. To encourage foreign trade, SHER reduced custom duties. He also introduced the silver coin called rupiah. It continued to be used for many centuries after his death. SHER followed a policy of religious tolerance. He repeated all religions and looked after the welfare of his subjects. He constructed the Purana Goila in Delhi. SHER was succeeded by Islam Shah. He could not build up the work of his predecessors. Humayun defeated Islam Shah in 1555 and entered the Sur Empire.